Hi everyone, welcome to today's installment of I Effin' Love Cinema, El Mes de Terror edition, and today we are talking about season 2, which is sadly going to be the final season of HBO's Los Espookys. Now, for those who don't know, Los Espookys, at least in season 1, is a show about a group of friends who have a sort of business where they recreate horror scenarios in real life, like horror movie scenes for people as a sort of service. Don't get me wrong, that's here. Like every episode has a horror special effects sequence, so that hasn't changed. What has changed is kind of everything else here. There is a huge shift here between season 1 and season 2, in the sense that season 2 is a lot more character driven and far more ambitious. This season starts off with a bunch of surprisingly large stake subplots being set up. One is a murder mystery, one is an election. We have a couple of plots that are resolved from season 1. Now, one of them gets sort of more or less abandoned here, but you know what? That's sort of the running theme, because I think the creators knew this was going to be the final season, especially like in the penultimate episode. There's a lot of little meta hints and nudges that this is the end. In fact, one of the things that season 1 did was that it kept the faces of Andres' parents always hidden, but in this season, they just show it. And frankly, I don't think it's such a bad thing, because I think they really sort of ran the course of this idea and taken it to its furthest extremes. I think the reason why this season is so ambitious is because I think the writers wanted to really challenge themselves and push the limits of this world, but I think in doing so, they found their limits. I really got to commend this show for taking a step out of its comfort zone to explore a lot of really great ideas and a lot of awesome subplots. It's just that by the end, it felt like a show that had more or less lost its identity. It seemed like, from what I understand, this show might be over, but HBO is still going to work with Julio Torres. And I think you can kind of see him more or less outgrow this show. This season and this show in general will go down as a sort of stepping stone for something that Julio Torres is really going to blow up with. That said, this show is very loving of its character and of the world that it created. All the characters have really interesting arcs here, including Tati, who again is this show's sort of Abed character from Community. She has a very compelling arc. It's dramatic. It has like one shocking moment in one of the early episodes. Not that she ever stops being the comedic center of the show. Every episode has one truly laugh my ass off moment, and they're all Tati. At least one, and they're all Tati ones. Every extended Tati sequence is fantastic from beginning to end here. I think one subplot where you can really see this show outwearing its premise is in the handling of the character of Ursula, who is sort of the main negotiator, the business head of Los Espookys in season 1. She steps into the world of politics, and you get to see all these much more fascinating parts of her character. She becomes a lot more interesting in that world than she becomes in Los Espookys. They give Ronaldo a very interesting arc that goes in very different directions than you would expect, especially in a show with this premise. Even Uncle Tico has a very funny and interesting arc, and then Andres's character has the best character arc, the most meaningful one. Hell, even like a small little background joke about like a TV show in the universe has a substantial like arc this season. This is really a lot of people doing really great work and then realizing, okay, we're done here, and sort of packing their bags and going. I think this show does a pretty good job of ending its characters' major arcs in a very satisfactory way, leaving the world of Los Espookys in a very hopeful, really positive spot. Overall, it's an enjoyable show. You know, not every show is meant to go on for multiple seasons, and I think in 2 seasons, this one really delivers a fascinating little world, and it does a lot with its premise, and it really goes in some very interesting directions. That's going to be it for today's IFN Love Cinema. Make sure you hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've seen the show, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. Until next time, peace.